Great. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It is February 2025. And as I said every week, we were promised flying cars by now. We don't have the flying cars yet. We do have other magical things in our lives. But it's an interesting time to be alive, right? What's the ancient Chinese curse? May you live in interesting times. Well, there you go. If you asked for an interesting time to be alive, if when your soul came down from your higher self, from your source to enter this body, it asked for interesting times, your soul got what it asked for, didn't it? Right? So be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for. I see a lot of people posting on how, the next time I'm incarnated on this planet, I'm going to ask for nice, calm, boring times, maybe. But I don't know. We're going to keep living in interesting times until we all learn our higher lessons that we need to learn and heal what we need to heal. And so today we're going to talk about taking daily steps amidst these interesting times, amidst what seems like chaos sometimes, right? So let's talk about how we can actually take daily action. We're going to go through this. So today's going to be all about discovering the importance of daily goal setting in an environment around us that seems increasingly chaotic and nuts. Everybody's at each other's throats. Doesn't need to be that way. We can still get stuff done. We can still work together on common values. We're going to learn a four-step process for taking our big ideas and turning them into small steps and productive motivation, or positive motivation. So the emails that went out this morning, I'm not sure. Some emails went out this morning. They should have had the attachment with the worksheet if you want to follow along. I think one of the emails, it might have not have uploaded properly, but make sure you check your email. And why are we doing this? Look, a lot of you know my beautiful wife, Heather. Those of you who don't, you haven't met her yet. That's all right. So Heather and myself, we are soulmates in the true sense. I didn't believe in soulmates and fate until I met her. And then I was like, oh, this is what people talk about when they talk about soulmates. Now I get it. Now it makes sense. And it was worth the wait. Didn't meet her till my 40s, and it was worth the 40 years of wait. And I would wait another 40 years if I had to. I get it. I get it now. So Heather and I, when we met, we had jobs, the old-fashioned job. We made good money. Everything was stable and safe and secure. But it was also tedious, boring. Didn't feel like we were really expanding spiritually, emotionally, physically, living our purpose, right? So the last 7, 8 years now, we've been in business, got out of our jobs, and then running a business, as most of you know. And when you run your own business and you don't have your boss telling you what to do every day, you have to start holding yourself accountable. You have to start setting those goals, those 5 year goals, those 1 year goals, those 1 month goals, those daily goals, those hourly goals. Sometimes for me, it's an hourly goal. I've got my to-do list and I'm like, what do I want to get done over the next hour or two? Here she is. For those of you who scoot over, do you want to get the other chair, baby?
Good.
You could.
Good.
Yeah, come on.
Hi.
Some of you know my lovely wife. Some of you are just meeting her. So we over the last year,
Had a job.
we used to have a job.
How many jobs did I have when you met me?
Well, she had lots of jobs. I had the one that was a 60-hour a week job, and she
Well,
had the
I had a 40-hour a week job that
uh-huh.
was at the Navy. I had three private practices, one in San Diego, one in Napa, one in Sebastopol.
Mhm.
And I played poker semi-professionally too.
We were busy bees. Uh it was a lot of fun, but at the same time, there was not a lot of long term. We were only just starting to think long term at that point because when you're working those kind of hours, we were both working 7 days a week. You're just trying to get through it. And now that we run a business, actually three businesses still, um, there's nobody telling us what to do. I know it broke. There's another one. I could use some.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, baby. Um, we have had to learn to hold ourselves accountable or find accountability groups and figure out how do we set those goals and actually achieve them on a literal daily basis. And so last year, we had initially joined an accountability group with another program with some people we discovered. And we found that having a daily accountability group that forced us to get up in the morning and be on and think about our day and be deliberate about our day, as well as celebrate yesterday and even talk about our honest struggles from yesterday. It literally changed everything for us. Being on a daily accountability group, it changed everything. Our entire business and life transformed. We're growing in ways we hadn't thought possible. And I'm not saying we don't struggle, we still struggle, but now these struggles are just built into our growth patterns and seen as opportunities for how we do this. And then when that ended, we didn't want to do without it. So we created our own. We'll talk about that later today. We've been talking about it the last month or so. We created our own for our tribe. So now we do still daily accountability. We run it for our tribe. Several of you who are here today are in that. And I think we've all been seeing it's life changing, right? I see some. Kristen, do you mind? I wasn't going to ask you till later. Would you mind commenting on the change it's made being part of a daily accountability group for you?
Sure, I'd love to. It's been really valuable in helping us order our, as Ian was highlighting, ordering our days. So it gives more of a deliberateness, and
Hmm.
in that, it's providing for like kind of an. Sometimes we'll kind of go with the day, like almost like with the wind, and it's not like just going that way where things are kind of haphazard. A lot more focused and like as the day is unfolding and there's like a pocket of time, it's like, okay, what was the next thing that I committed to doing? And even with that, like just a practical example for us is in my learning to start a new business, it's just helping me to be a lot more deliberate about the steps and moving them along more quickly. And even in the aspect of homeschooling, to help us order things to be more productive, which pushed us to actually plug into a potential group to just yesterday for accountability on that end. And even just with that little piece is helping us to become more aware of how much we're doing, like how much extra we're doing that we may not
Hmm.
necessarily have to do that will help us to free up time. It's like you might think, well, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to wake up and put this time in. I don't have time for like this extra training. Well, I'm realizing we don't have time to not do it because it actually maximizes the time that we're doing things and provides for more, so to say, free time, if you will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, time is one of our most valuable resources. You know, you can't use money to buy time, but you can use your time to get more money, right? So, time is the ultimate equalator.
Hmm.
It gets everything the same. We all have the same amount of time. And if we don't value it and use it to make more time, you know, by implementing systems and getting everything in place to just have life be more smooth. And it also works on reducing stress, which I don't know someone who needs and was told by his doctor that he needs to reduce his stress.
Yeah. I, I don't
Love
know.
you.
I don't know who she's talking about. Sure, it wasn't me. Um, and Kristen, I don't know if this would summarize how you feel also. Um, oh, I had something brilliant and it's gone. That's all right. We'll take
Well, you are brilliant. So it'll, another thing will just bubble up or that one will come back.
yeah.
Mwah.
Thanks, baby. Yeah. Anyway, we've been loving it. John, yes. Hey.
Well, the first thing I have to say is you and Heather, Ian, are just very inspiring, very enlightening, very much really cool to see you've discovered each other, at your, I wouldn't say late age in life, at your stage of your life, because I'm 75 years old and I'm just going through a 40-year marriage that is not, I got officially divorced about 3 months ago.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
yeah, well, thanks. And then this is where, but it's all good. It's, and to see you guys on the other end of that and knowing that you found your soulmates is that's my intention too. But I'm not looking for it right now. I've got my work to do. So, but I really totally really understand what you're saying about time. And that is something that I've learned over my life is that time is something that we are all given so much of, and if we can manage it And if we can leverage it to the point where
Hmm.
we are leveraging ourselves rather than, like you mentioned, you had 3 jobs, Heather, and that, and you're working 60 hours a week in doing what you're doing. And that is, really to me, a situation that can be improved on, and to be able to have the freedom to really, financial freedom is part of it, of course, but it's the time freedom to really do what you love, and really the things that we can do all as human beings as we get better at what we're doing. And I just really appreciate you guys for, talking about this subject.
Oh, thanks, John. I'm grateful. And you're right about the time freedom. I mean, there are people who are completely financially free, but they have no time freedom and they're miserable. They hate their lives,
Or they're in a bad marriage or whatever.
whatever it might be, right? On the other hand, I would rather, I mean, if my choice was making 200K and having all the time I wanted to do anything I want versus making 200 million and being trapped and a prisoner of the work. No, no, thank you. I don't want the 200 million at that price. I just don't. Not interested.
But I love the leverage, John, that you were
Hmm.
talking about, because so much of it is also what can we do for our bodies?
Hmm.
Does meditation give you a return on your investment? Does exercise?
Hmm.
Does reading? What is it that gives you the return on investment of your time? And Norma has a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Norma, hey.
Okay. Um, so listening to what everybody's saying triggered two things briefly. One was about the first one's about time. When I lived in LA, I took martial arts. And the sensei one day said, I'm going to strike you. He picked one of us, and
Mm,
I want you to block the strike. So we already knew he was going to do that. And the amazing thing was, his hand was over to us and back before we even had a chance to do anything. So
hmm.
after watching this 3 times, I said, okay, what are you doing that keeps us from
Mm,
blocking you? He says, I'm eliminating the middle step.
mm,
He says, I intend that my strike is completed before I even execute it. And that cut out the time. So that leads me
Mm.
to think, okay, I'm going to use that with what I learned today. And I'm going to take the viewpoint, my course that I want to teach is done. And
yeah.
just be with that. The second quick point was Lynn Taggart has a book called The Power of Eight. And they get together in a group, and one person has an intention, and the other people, for I forget how many days, holds the same intention.
Mm,
And it's amazing how it happens. The
hmm.
intention manifests. So when you say get together in a group and you're accountable, um, I can't help but think everybody wants you to be successful at whatever they know you want, and that's
Yeah.
going to help you get it. So
No,
that's it.
absolutely, Norma. And actually, I love that you said that because that's the thing I that slipped my mind just a couple minutes ago is the power of doing this together and holding the intention for everybody's success and celebrating the success and helping with the struggles and being empathetic and just holding energetic space for one another on a literal daily basis
Yeah.
has changed our lives for
Yeah.
sure. So,
Well, and I was going to say about your course, Norma,
mhm,
the one thing that we've had to really keep working on over the years, especially this one,
mhm,
is done is better than perfect. And this, what we're doing right here, is an example of that. Like, this is not by anywhere what I envisioned yet, but it will be. And when it is, then we're really going to start marketing it. And,
mhm,
right now we're just opening it up to the people who know us.
mhm.
Right. And
And
you're using courage to do it. It's not a course I want to do. I want to teach on energy. People need to
Mhm.
know what they can
Yeah,
do with their energy.
yeah,
And I go right into fear and freeze up. And I'm going, this is ridiculous. I use it all the time in my practice. Why would I not want to teach it? But there's something there. So, anyway, hoping today I'm going to get an insight into myself.
Do you take things
Well,
first? Isolate yourself when
we teach what we most need to learn, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's right.
That's right. And the universe is always going to throw at us what it is we need to work on, whether you want to or not.
This is both true what you say.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is why we're doing this, all this goal setting stuff. So this is really an opportunity. Setting and achieving goals can be hard. Look, I get it. There is still a huge resistance in me to setting and achieving goals. And I will admit, this is because of my childhood trauma of like feeling like it's a no-win situation. You know, heads I lose, tails I lose no matter what. So why even flip the coin? Why even try? Does anybody else feel like that? Do you have the same traumas from childhood? No matter what you do, it's not going to be good enough and you fail anyway. And so then it turns into, well, why should I set goals? I'm not going to achieve them anyway. And then not only have I not achieved the goals, I just feel shitty about myself. Anybody else had any of that in their lives before?
No, but I had a thought, maybe
Hmm.
we've been misled about this word goals because
Yeah.
by nature, we're creators. We simply love to
Mm.
create,
Hmm.
whatever it is, coffee, breakfast, lunch, whatever. And this is like, it feels to me, it's amazing as you were speaking about goals. It feels artificial. It feels like
Mm.
as if it's undermining our natural ability to simply create.
Hmm.
Well, and so what if we considered, and we could always, cross out the word goals and have intention, right? And I like being mindful of my goals or my intentions.
See,
So just,
intention, yeah, you're right. That's
Hmm.
a good point. Intention, I feel, ooh, I'm interested. As soon as I hear a goal, I condense. So
Mm.
that might be an important word change. Yeah, intention.
Yeah, if that's a contracting word, in fact, throughout the webinar today, I'm going to be sprinkling in words like intentions and topics and ideas.
mhm.
Yeah, good.
and,
Mhm.
and it's always about, as soon as you commit to an intention, and commit can have a bad word, negative connotation too, but it simply means like I'm committing to this choice and I'm brushing away all of the other choices because they're not as important to me as this one. This one is taking the priority of my focus, my attention,
Mhm.
my energy, everything. And I'm not going to pay as much attention to the other things that are more trivial in my life. And so I also like having goals that are emotion based and expansive of the type of person I want to be. And I'm trying to encourage some people to really focus on his own health. And I have to focus on mine too. And that has to be like our number one goal at this point, our number one intention that we want to put everything towards is
Yeah.
health. John,
John, yeah.
Yeah, what a wonderful conversation. I'm thinking, yeah, it is mindset, it is mindfulness. And
Mhm.
when you mentioned, your childhood traumatic situations that, really set yourself up for failure when you do set goals, when you refer back to who you were when you were young with a trauma and
Mhm.
knowing that that is a big block for you or it's a blind spot in your psyche or in your being is that I understand that and I can relate to that. And at the same time, when your childhood, and this is what I did to look at it in as deeply and as mindfully as I could, is I looked at the good things that happened from 0 to 8 or 9 years old when you're so impressionable and things really stick to you because you have a wide open, opportunity to do all this stuff. Just the way the human design is what I get.
Yeah.
And if you can really go on something that was really positive at that age, somebody would say, your parents would say, "Oh, you are such a good reader," at 6 years
Mm.
old. And then that sticks in you and you can carry that forward and nurture that thought. And
Mhm.
maybe, then you can get past the failures of setting yourself up for failure when you set your goals, when you look at it from a positive standpoint about your early
Mhm.
childhood.
Yeah.
well, and for those of us who didn't have family that said nice things to them. I've had to
Yeah.
learn how to do it myself and find people in my life to do it.
Yep.
And that's always a goal too, building that community.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start here. Can we at least say, and remove goals if you want? If that's a contracting word for you, use a word that feels more expansive. Goals used to feel contracting. I'm trying to take back the power in the word goals and find power. But sometimes I like,
Experiences.
yeah,
What
do I want to achieve experiences?
Yeah, what do you desire?
Is there a desire? Is there a topic? Is there an idea that I want to manifest? Is there an
Yeah.
intention that I want to create and make it real? Right. So you can remove the word goals if you need to, or you can take the power of the word, or I'm kind of in between on it. I'm still trying to figure out what word I want to use. That's okay. And then start thinking about what are the things that get in your way. We're going to go through a few things today as we talk about this, but what's getting in our way?
The pen, please.
You may have a pen.
Thank you.
And then, as we just spoke, what if there's an opportunity to join a loving community where you give support and receive support? So you can do this along the way. It turns out to be hard to do this on your own. There's that old John Hopkins study. What do they call it? The change or die study.
Yeah,
That wasn't the formal name. There was a formal medical name for the study that was complicated and had big $5 words in it.
It was something about heart disease or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a medical study for heart conditions or whatever, heart attacks or something
Yeah.
like that. And they had studied those people on they were told they were going to die if they didn't make certain changes. They were more likely to have a heart attack or a death kind of situation with their heart, their coronary system. So yeah.
Yeah, and it became known as the change or die study because they studied two groups. The groups who tried to make the life change on their own, and most of them just died. They decided they would rather die than make the change. And by decided, I'm not even saying consciously, but subconsciously, somewhere in them, they died instead of changing. And then they had a group where everybody got together every day and held energetic space and supported one another. Those people lived. They made the changes. It's hard to make change. This is why we've been doing this, why we're doing all these calls in community. It's why my legal workshops are in community. It's why everything we do is in community. It's very hard to do all this on your own.
So,
So
Ian, how do you see people supporting each other in community or in the course, let's say?
Well, you're doing it right now just by
Yeah.
showing up, and what you contribute is so valuable. What John's been contributing is so valuable, Kristen. So, the more you get out of your comfort zone and share, that right there shows the bravery, your desire to have a relationship with the people on here. We root for each other, we support each other. And after a while, you in the mornings you just kind of go, oh, there you are again. Hey, what's up? How did you do
Right.
what you wanted?
Yeah, but so what I would want if I were going to be part of the group was an agreement that we would support each other's goal. Once we knew what each other's goal was, we were going to support them in their goal. So they knew it consciously. I'm supporting you because talking is fantastic and you can have insights and understanding. But from what I've learned, anyway, could be always something new to learn. Um, you have agreement and intention that you're saying, I'm going to help the seven of you. I'm holding that intention for you to have it.
Yeah.
Right there,
And
that's wonderful.
that's huge. And that intention sometimes is practical. So somebody may have something they're trying to do, and you may have some way, an expertise or specific advice or ways you can help. And if you don't have a practical solution for them, then you are still helping by holding that energetic space with your intention and your love, because we
Yeah,
feel that, right? Norma,
right.
we feel your love and you feel our love, and there's so much value in even just showing up and saying, how did it go yesterday? Right? Did you do
Yeah,
this thing? Did you not
caring.
do this thing? Yeah, showing that you care. There's such a valuable in being with people and having them at me be like, oh my gosh, these people who show up they actually give a shit. Like they really care. They're not
Yeah.
just showing up as a habit. right? They're showing up because they choose to be there. Nobody's forcing us all to show up and do this. The act of making that choice sets that intention with one another.
Yeah, good.
So we're going to do, as we have been every week, a little bit of grounding into our source. We're going to learn a 4-step process for turning our big ideas into some daily action, and then we'll talk more about the community for those who are ready to join at this time. So let's bring down that nervous system. Do you want to do this part, baby? Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I want you to do
You
it.
want me to? Oh, great.
You are great.
Well,
You're wonderful and great, and it's great.
see, look, my nervous system is even getting on high alert just thinking now that I have to do this thing, right? So,
Yeah.
which probably means the universe is telling me that I'm the one who needs to do it today. All right, so put your hand on your heart, tap through it, whatever works for you, right? Sometimes some of us like to feel the golden light up from the earth and the blue light from the heavens and the light and the energy. Go ahead and take that breath. Calm down. Do your breathing. We're here, we're right now. We are right now surrounded by a puppy and some kitties. What are they doing? They're living in the moment. Are they worried about yesterday? No. Are they worried about tomorrow?
No.
They're here and now. And what are they doing? They're here and now feeling the love. Right? So we all made it here today. We got up this morning. We made a choice to be together. We made a choice to support one another and care about one another. That intention that Norma is talking about. We have each other. We are all very lucky people here. Whatever our struggles, we have food in our bellies and a roof over our head, and we have internet to meet one another around the country and around the world.
People who care about us.
People who care about us. We're the lucky ones, right? There's so much to be grateful for. I'm grateful for my beautiful wife. I'm grateful that she even keeps challenging me to be the better man that she believes that I can be. Grateful for my puppy dog. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the snow outside that's going to provide lots of water this summer, which we will need in California. So just ground into it, ground into Mother Earth, ground into your source, wherever that source comes from for you. I don't care what you call it. Ain't none of my business. We are here and now. Today is today. Tomorrow's going to take care of itself. 2 hours from now is going to take care of itself. So let's just bring it down. There's a lot going on in the world right now.
And it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. And I'm not saying you have
It's not in
to
here.
completely ignore it or forget about it. If there's things you care about and are passionate about, then you should pay attention and take action on those. But in order to do that, you still have to ground into yourself and calm down. Because if you're in panic mode, do we react well and take good action when we're in panic mode? Not so
No.
well. Not at all. Right. So it's okay if there's things you care about in the outside world. It's okay if you're passionate about it. That's normal and healthy. Just make sure you're prioritizing your needs, your family's needs, your loved ones' needs, your community's needs, and doing the things you can do to make a real difference and not just sitting there panicking about every little thing that happens. So we'll just keep that breathing going the whole time we're on today.
Yeah, take some time to transmute
Transmute. Yes.
that nervous, anxious energy about what's going on out in the world.
That's why I have kitty cats. They help me transmute. Norma, you know that. The kitty cats transmute, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Transmute it with love.
With love.
And you do that through your heart chakra.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
All right, Norma, you had a comment.
Yeah. There's a lot of judgment when you say come together as a community, and I
Mm-hmm.
realize I'm hungry for a community of positive
Mm-hmm.
thinking people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got very PTSD. I didn't realize this happened until months later, but when COVID was alive and well, back there in 2020, and being you better get a shot and all this, I'll never forget. I went into the supermarket, and the fear people were looking at me, but everybody, not just me,
Mm-hmm.
with fear, like I was the enemy. I was going to cause them death. And I went, oh my God, I can't be in this environment. It was so traumatizing for the people. They were so like they put a coat on and they were embossed in fear, and that we became the enemy to each other and not the friend and neighbor that we usually are. So I hope that the group that you're going to be forming, we agree to leave judgment out the door,
Mhm.
and we're going to have different points of view, and it's okay
Mm-hmm.
because we learn from different points of view,
Mm-hmm.
and we just use our positive energy and intention to get where we want to go.
Yeah.
That's
I
all.
appreciate that, Norma. And Norma, you've been part of several of our communities, so I think
Yeah.
when we say community, it doesn't mean we agree on everything. In fact, it's not healthy if we all agree. We should disagree on things. That's fine. Like you said, that's how you learn and how we come together. But we do agree on holding that intention and holding that space and a non-judgmental love and support no matter what. And we work hard to try and attract that positive energy. We're
Yeah.
here to come together, and we share common values, and let's work on those common values. We all want the world to have love and healing, right? Can we agree on that? I mean,
Yeah.
if you can agree on that, then we can accomplish the most amazing things together. So yeah, Norma, you're right. The community, all the communities we form, again, you've been part of some of them. I think you've
But
seen.
but discuss it, bring it out so no one's people, one of the things I notice, people aren't very good at communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey, Jonty.
so when a group comes together, okay, this is the steps, not no judgment, leave it out the door,
Mm-hmm.
intend for everybody's well-being, and only offer positive if you can. Negative sometimes is important,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly positive. And so we fill up and go, wow, what a great group of people I'm connected to. They're
Mm-hmm.
willing to accept me even though I have this crooked idea or this way out idea. They're going, oh, that's interesting point of view,
Yeah.
instead
Well,
of
and Norma,
criticizing.
we're all a bunch of weirdos here in our own way.
Always.
That's why we keep coming together.
Or they get
We're all a bunch of
Yay.
weirdos. Yeah, it's all good. John, yeah.
Yeah, I have a comment and a question, but Norma, great supportive shares that you're doing here for this community because I'm getting used to and understanding what Ian and Heather have created here, and it's really cool to hear you, Norma, about what you're saying about what you're looking for as far as a community that is supportive of who you are as you find and discover your each of our own true authentic selves, and that's really cool. So I just want to just say I'm grateful and appreciate your shares. So my comment is, as far as this community, um, the way I look at it is to have people that you can, trust, and that's what I
Mhm.
see here is uh, not making judgment, but understanding who this community, what this community is about, and it's having. I see you, Ian, and Heather as trusted advisors to something that, is so meaningful, and that's our connection to each other as we can support each other for what we are all about. Um, so, I've got a lot of learning to do. I come in wherever I go as kind of a beginning learner about, just seeing what I can discover and what I can learn. And, I've got a lot of good things in my 75 years of life that I've accumulated and but I'm always open to learning more.
Mhm.
So the question I have is just because I'm curious is when you came into this, let's calm our nervous systems in, and you were very kind of uncomfortable, a little
Mhm.
apprehensive about it.
Yeah.
Why was that, and what were you feeling at that time?
Oh, because I see my beautiful wife as the more spiritual, enlightened one, um, when it comes to connecting with source and calming down.
It's not true though.
But that, I'm just saying how I see it. I know in my head it's not true, but it's the story I tell myself. And the story I
He
tell
has angel
myself,
wings back here. I know you
I,
guys can't always
yeah,
see him on camera, but
you know, I see myself as the one who's really good with law and taxes and critical thinking and logic and teaching and helping people plan. I don't see myself as the one, and again, I know it's not true. This is the story, this is the narrative that I'm trying to overcome. I don't see myself as the more spiritual side. Of course, then this is why the universe threw this at me today,
well, and you
right?
have always had the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met.
I don't know about that. Um, Again, my own narrative, right? So when, I was hoping Heather would do that exercise, and when she said I had to do it, I immediately started to panic, right? Because I figured I'm not going to do it very well, and people are not going to get value of it. These are the narratives that are running through my head, which also meant, as I said in the moment, that I needed to run it, right?
Yeah,
That was the
good.
challenge that I needed to overcome in the moment.
Good.
So,
So I have another question for you then.
mhm.
That leads me to another question is that thank you for sharing that. And I was just curious to know that it was uncomfortable and you didn't feel qualified. You didn't feel you were whatever way you were feeling. How do you feel now? Now that you went through that little, because this is a concept that I
Yeah.
adopted my own, is that when I feel uncomfortable, I welcome those uncomfortable feelings
Mhm.
now. I can learn more from, the situation. I'd love to hear from you on.
Yeah, I feel more confident for doing it again,
Yeah. Thank you.
right?
And next
Yeah.
time, if it comes up again, the panic
Yeah,
will still
next
show
time
up.
the panic will come up, and that's okay. This is
Maybe
not,
a little less.
yeah, you don't wake up fixed one day. That's not how this life works. It's a journey. I'm taking one step at a time. I definitely felt less panicked this time than last time. Um,
Well, that's progress.
oh, I just had a,
What?
so, I think a couple calls ago, Heather wasn't able to be on. She was
Mm.
with clients or something, and I didn't feel as panicked running this exercise. I felt more panicked with her here because I think she's better at it. And I think, oh, I'm not going to be good enough. And she'll think next time I need to take over and don't let Ian see. Right. So there's another trauma that comes up for me
Mhm.
that again, my brain, I know this is bullshit on an intellectual level, but this is still the subconscious story that I have running
Well,
that
and
I'm
I
working
think
on.
that's the other thing about just being with us in community is we try to be very transparent.
Hmm.
I've been a therapist for how many freaking years, and in the mental health field since 1996. Um, so, but I have just as much stuff to work on as the next person. And I'm always very transparent with my clients around what I'm working on and that it's a constant journey, and just having a community that you can be yourself around and have that empathy, sharing that heart space. That's why I love having you guys here. It's
Hmm.
really wonderful.
Bob, great comment. When you act as if you are the person you want to be, you can rewire your brain.
Right on, Bob.
You're right, Bob. There you go.
Yeah, that's good too. I just want to add on to what you just said, Heather and Ian, is that it's interesting how this concept of you're authentic yourself. And then Ian, you just told another story about,
Hmm.
it popped into your head about you and Heather. And
Hmm.
that's they just keep, I don't know, as you get really to know yourself, they just keep popping up more and more as these stories just pop up about who you are. And then
Hmm.
verbalize them and vocalize them in whatever way you do. And it's really cool to see you guys in action about, some of the
Uh,
concepts that I think work.
yeah, you're seeing it in real time
Right.
happen, right? Because you're right, John. So many of the stories are stories that were imposed upon us.
Mhm.
They're not real. It's the stories the universe told us about ourselves, and it's not real.
Well, and what you took from it and you make it real.
Yeah.
By you keep having those experiences, you bring them into your sphere, and you keep you reliving some of these traumas until you get a handle on them. And then you release it and you realize that was never you in the first place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And then Bob's comment is a great one. How do you get out of the, when the people around you tell you things about yourself?
You either grab
yeah, you
onto it
can
and go,
grab
"Yep,
onto
you're
it.
right."
No, or you can, you be the person you choose to be and you want to be, and you make it real as you do it. Yeah, this is great. So glad everybody's here today. All right, so let's talk about some.
Look at him.
I know. He's excited. He's jumping. He's doing it. Right? I'm sure he didn't get to jump that high the first time he did it. He had to take some daily steps
Yeah,
to
there's a
achieve
trampoline
this.
right under there.
Probably, yeah, that's all right. I didn't want to zoom in on the trampoline. Right. So we're going to talk about a 4-step process today, and we're not going to spend a ton of time talking about it. I'm trying to be respectful of time. So you guys did get a worksheet.
Well, and I do need to go because I have a
Oh,
client
you
at
have a
11.
client.
So
Okay. Love you,
nice
baby.
seeing you all. Take care.
Bye, Heather.
We set up your chair, right? It's
Yes,
good. Okay.
it's all
Yeah.
good.
All right. So all right. So we're gonna kind of, you know, talk our way through this a little bit, but mostly today is about the community, as you guys can see. You have worksheets that went out in some of the emails, but this is a new way we're looking at it. We're always looking at new ways to do this. And you can see now my step one already is not what's your goal. We talked about the word goals. Norma, I loved it. The word goal can feel contracting depending on our individual experience. So instead of what's your goal, what's your big idea? Think of it that way instead when you start off. What's your big idea? So what's that big idea? What's that area of your life? And I like the word calling. Do you guys I like the word calling. It works with me. I don't know, it works with everybody. You like the word calling. What's that area of your life where you have that big idea where you are called to make a new commitment or called to recommit to an existing. Now I threw in goal, right? Goal, topic, idea. Okay, come on, Jim. Think about that area of life. And these worksheets, you can, again, print these out, use them over and over, along with some of the other worksheets we've had over the last few weeks. Whatever works for you. And then why did you choose that area for that big idea? Maybe it's your physical health, maybe it's your mental health, maybe it's your business, maybe it's a relationship. And again, you don't have to pick one, but maybe just think of one at a time so you can kind of, come on, sugar. I know, good boy. So you can go through the process. Eventually you want to do steps like this with all the different areas, but you can start with one and work your way through it. And then make an intentional statement. It's where we talked the word intention earlier, right? Make an intentional statement about what that idea is and how it looks and what you think you're going to achieve, what you plan to achieve, what you want to achieve, what you deserve to achieve with that big idea. Again, there's so many different areas of life where this could be. It could be an income goal for your business. It could be a goal of how many people I'm going to serve this year. It could be a goal of spending more time with your kids or your spouse or other loved ones or in community. It could be a health related goal. So a big one for me this year is health related. I had some serious health issues over the last couple of months. Sort of a wake up call because I was in decent shape a couple of years ago. Then last couple of years it's no excuse, but we were on the road traveling constantly. I ate a lot more hamburgers and tacos. I stopped exercising, and no surprise what happened. My body didn't like it. And my doctor now is like, dude, come on, you gotta, like, it's time to get back. Right. So my big health related goal is to lose 30 pounds because I gained about 30 pounds over the last 2 years. Lose that 30 pounds, get back to what was my ideal weight, get back in that physical shape. I chose that area because it affects every other area of my life. It affects my relationships, my stamina, my business, everything, right? My ability to be here and help people. And so that's my intentional statement, is to lose that 30 pounds. Now, there are other things that go in there. I'm eating more veggies, I'm eating fresher things, you know, even when we're on the road now, packing fresh food instead of stopping at the hamburger joint, right? There's no reason we had to stop for hamburgers. I could pack a salad to eat. Anybody else want to share what's going on for them here? It's okay if you have to think about it. John, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always willing to share.
Mhm.
I think the health part, and that's where I come in, is just inhale some of my own saliva here.
No, it's all good. Yeah.
Uh, anyways, I think that's so important to know your foundational being.
Mhm.
And like you just said, Ian, the health part is when you have your health, when you don't have your health, you don't have a thing,
Mhm.
because when you have your health, you can have 1,000 dreams. When you don't have your health, you have but one. So
Yeah.
I think that's so foundational to really know that within you is your one of your primary fundamental goals is to really drill down. And this is what comes up to me when I think about these things from the past. One of my stories that is a good story, it's you. It's involving you is I saw you as, in the 4 or 5 or 6 years that I've been reading some of your stuff, and you've been my lawyer and all that great stuff, is critical thinking. That is
Mhm.
one of the major things, and you mentioned it today.
Yeah.
And so I have taken that stance of critical thinking and just really drilling down to what is critical in my thinking and getting down to foundational pieces. And the health part is a huge, huge, part of who we are.
Mhm. Yeah. Very
So
good.
thank you. I just wanted to thank you.
Thank you,
Very good.
John.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And so once you kind of have that big idea and that big topic, we have to think about, what are the unresolved conflicts? What's the unresolved conflict in your big idea or your topic? In other words, what's been stopping you? If this is what you want, why aren't you doing it? Or maybe you are doing it, but not at the pace you want to be. What's slowing down? What's stopping you? What's the conflict in there? Think about what that conflict might be. How long has this conflict been unresolved? Months, years, your whole life for some of us? And that's what's preventing us from resolving the conflict even, right? So it's like, what's stopping you? How long has it been stopping you? And that's what's stopping you from not letting that stopping you. It's like going a little bit meta, right? Going into the layers. Right. So for me, with the health thing, getting back in the shape I was a couple years ago, the unresolved conflict is I feel too busy, too overwhelmed. Right. It takes some time and effort to get back in shape again. Planning my meals, doing the right grocery shopping, taking time to cook fresh, healthy things instead of buying fried shit, doing the exercise, right? Taking the puppy for the longer walks. That can, if I even now I feel it rising, I feel a panic rising. As I start to list, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot, right? The overwhelm kicks in. That's my unresolved conflict, is the feeling of overwhelmed. And for me, that overwhelm has always been a thing in my life. Anyone else have examples? John, yeah.
I should let other people talk. I don't mean to.
No, if you got something to say, John, that's why we're here.
Okay, it really, and I can say it fairly quickly. It's about really drilling down to your foundational being and
Hmm.
who you are, and it's critical thinking. And I'm
Hmm.
going to throw that in. And so I have a mantra every day that I say, and it's all about also self-care, but it's also getting down to the foundation of who you are. And when I drill all the way down, it's really simple, and it gives me a lot of confidence in who I am as a person. And what it is, and I say this every day, and I probably said it already, maybe in this space, but it's my priorities in life. It's God, serving others,
Hmm.
beings be happy, loving, joyful, and blessed. I mean,
Hmm.
that's as simple as it gets. And
Yeah.
that, and so I can get rid of a lot of unresolved conflicts and things like that when I got my priorities straight.
No, I love that. Reiterating your priorities every day, your fundamental values helps you cut through the conflict. And that's how I've been doing it with the health thing. When I think of the overwhelm of the quote unquote work it takes to get back in shape again, I remember, but wait, I want to be here for my wife and my fur babies. I want to be here for my children and my grandchildren. I want to be here for my community and all the people I help and serve in the business. All right. And like you said, John, if I don't get back in shape, then I'm constantly, then my one goal is just to get back in shape and I'm fatigued and I'm tired and I don't feel good and I get sick easier. Right. Whereas if I have my health, suddenly everything else, all the things I really want become much easier. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Norma.
Yeah. So people don't, here's one of my ideas. It works for me about the body. Like you're saying, um, I've got to do this, eat differently and exercise
Mm-hmm.
or walk the dog. Sometimes if you just ask your
Mm.
body, what do you want? Like if I'm every morning I ask my body, show me when the answer is yes. And it moves forward and show me when
Mm-hmm.
the answer is no, it moves backwards.
Yeah.
So then I take my hydrochloric acid tablet and hold
Mm-hmm.
the bottle at my navel and say, body, do you want one today? Yep.
Mm.
Sometimes it says no, but I find that it's helped me so much in other areas. Should I get rid of this book? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, and I never missed it. And I found out later I wasn't even really interested in it, but at the time I had it, I thought I was.
Yeah.
So maybe you can practice, and everybody listening can practice asking your body,
Mm-hmm.
what does it want? Does it really want to walk the dog? No, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. And then you ask it later, and maybe it says yes, maybe it still says no.
Yeah.
And when your body's happy, it drops weight. When it's not happy, it holds on to emotions.
That's true. The stress or the pushing through when your body doesn't want it, yeah, it's gonna hold on, literally and metaphorically. So yeah, do muscle testing, pendulums,
Yeah.
whatever works for
Or
your
how
day.
did your body feel? Should I go to the movie today? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
my body feels heavy. That's a no. If I ask, should I go to the movie, and I feel excited and light, I know that's a
Mm-hmm.
yes. It works for me. I've been doing it for several months. I
Yeah.
trust my body now. I've learned to trust it. It knows what it wants.
No, you're right. And like the movie a couple days ago, Heather and I took a day off to go play a poker tournament and go see some movies. And we had lots of work to do, but when we talked about taking the day off to go do fun things, we immediately felt light and relaxed.
Ah,
That
there
was
you
our
go.
bodies telling us, yes, you need a day off. Let's take a day off.
Yeah. Then you
Yeah.
do more when you go back to your work because
Yeah.
you're balanced and happy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very good.
Thank you, Norma.
Yeah.
I dig it. So then our step three is starting to break it down into small pieces. So start thinking about which of the goals, projects, ideas are feeling overwhelming to you. And what would those small steps look like? You can break it down into monthly, weekly. Again, in our group, those of you who are in it know we've been breaking it down into daily steps. And it doesn't mean you get every step accomplished every day. Sometimes I'm like, well, I didn't get that done yesterday. So now that's my goal for today is to get that done. And that's okay. I'm not going to get mad at myself. I don't have to get everything done all the time. And then how do you prioritize those small steps? Which ones are more important? And then think about sort of what help do you need? All right. So Heather and I, we realized the help we needed was daily accountability, which is why we joined a group last year. And it's why when that group finished, we decided to create our own for our tribe because that's what we needed. And so we're going to do it. And like for me in the health that I'm working on this year, I mentioned a minute ago how when I list everything I need to do to get back in shape and get healthy again, it feels overwhelming. But the little steps for me are even things like calling the doctor to set up the blood work today so they can tell me what I need to do, right? They can give me some advice. Okay, I can do that. I can make a phone call. Go to the store today. I'm out of spinach and kale. I need more spinach and kale. I'm going to go to in fact, after this, I'm going to the store today. I need more spinach and kale. Right. So I'm going to go get that. Or things like I have some really fresh, nice looking steaks to cook, but I'm out of propane on the barbecue. Well, so I'm going to get propane today. Like little tiny things. Right. So then for dinner tonight, I can have a fresh steak, kale and spinach, right? Good, healthy dinner. Little tiny things. You know, taxes are coming up, right? A lot of us with businesses are going to have some March 15th tax deadlines. That suddenly feels real close. But you know what? Tomorrow I can finish the P&Ls for this business. The next day I'll do the P&Ls for the next, like you can break this up into little tiny things that just get done. Anyone else? Kristen, please.
Thanks for doing this. It's always so valuable. I just was coming to heart to Ian has a critical thinking course that I was fortunate to participate in. And it's so funny how sometimes we have, like it has been highlighted, we have these patterns that we walk out in on a daily basis and don't even realize it. And part of what was accentuated through that and has been even in being part of this amazing group is what am I doing with my time and what does that look like? Because it shows where my value is. And to be able to speak to that daily is helping to help me to become more aware of what I'm not aware of and to help reshape even the big picture goals and to have that broken down as Ian has broken down here in the pieces that you could break it down to where you can have these daily steps is just so invaluable. We've been part of other accountability groups where there's been like biweekly check-ins, but to have the daily check-in is it sets a different precedence and it sets the day too, where even as in navigating things, instead of just going through the tasks of the day, there's like this forward thinking of, okay, what's my next goal for tomorrow? What are my wins so far? What am I going to share? And to have that community to touch base with and celebrate in those wins, not just to share the celebrate like to your wins, but to celebrate others' wins and to be thinking, okay, what's my next step? And to be celebrating other people's next step and to have that community where you're having that interchanging of like, okay, well, ideas or to accentuate an idea of like what you're doing that you may not be aware of what you're doing or reframing something is just it's valuable to say the least.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah.
And then step 4. So one reason I wanted to try out this new 4-step thing today, because often they have us imagining being done before we set, before we get into it. This time I wanted to try doing this as the end step. Think about the big idea, think about the obstacles, break it into little tiny pieces. And then now that you've seen the little tiny pieces are doable, let's imagine what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. because this gets us to the why. What does it look like? What is it going to feel like? Right? Get to your why. Have that motivation. Create a positive motivation. So that then now we've thought about the little steps. Even if we're still feeling a little overwhelmed, we can still kind of come back from that and say, this is why I'm doing it. Any questions on this 4-step thing that we're kind of trying today? I haven't tried this before. This is new to me too. So if it's new to you, that's okay. You guys are my guinea pigs today. John.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Let me get John and then I'll get you, Norma. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's really different for everybody, and I think it's different for everybody. And then again, it's the same is the way I look at it for
Hmm.
everybody. In regard that I think we're all looking for our why. We're all looking for
Hmm.
our purpose. Those who have that awareness that they even are in that place. And like you said, on one of the things that you just said today was, you know, change you die study until either you discover your why, your purpose, or you
Hmm.
die.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, pretty foundational and pretty meaningful for me in the respect that the more clarity I get on this journey of life to where I'm going and how I want to serve others. I know that, that is part of my thing is being big thing is serving others as I have the
Yeah.
self-care and health for myself. And as I answer to God in my case, and whatever
Yeah.
case everybody else is, to have that higher power that you are governed by. And so I think the whole thing is this is really cool to be able to see that you can imagine the accomplishment once it occurs. But I think for me that my step is to just continuous clarity on my calling, my why
Mm.
I'm on this planet to begin with, and then I can really imagine the accomplishment as I go through this whole process.
Yeah. No, and that why is so big. I know my why, a big part of mine, like it is for you and so many of us on here, is that I'm here to make a difference and help people in using the skill set that the universe and my experience has given me. And then my that is even underlying my all my health goals this year. Why do I want to get back into good health? Because I will be able then to make a bigger difference in the lives of those around me. If you don't take care of yourself, it's real hard to take care of other people. Not that it's my job to take care of you, but you know what you mean. Yeah.
Well,
Norma, yeah. Did you?
Yeah, two things real quick. One, I realized that I don't want to help others. That's not my goal. My goal is
Mm,
to be a happy, healthy me.
yeah.
And then, although I do help others, so I don't
Hmm.
have to focus on that because I do it naturally.
Yeah.
But my goal is me. I need
Yeah.
to be a happy, healthy me because then I vibrate energy that even if
Hmm.
I'm shopping in a market, anybody passing by me is going to be uplifted
Hmm.
by the energy I vibrate out. So that's one of the reasons I want to uh, do better in life is for me
Yeah.
first and then others second. I used to put others before me and I
Hmm.
was never really happy. And then I heard something or read something and it triggered it. I go, oh, I have it backwards. Now I'm
Mm.
excited. So, well, like when you talk about losing weight, I don't feel you're excited about that at all. And
Yeah. Maybe I'm
I
not. Yeah.
yeah. And
Hmm.
it's not a judgment. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's just I notice that because I pay attention to energy
Yeah.
and and how much fun it could be if you were excited. I need to lose 20 pounds too, and I'm not really doing anything about it. And well, I sort of am. And I'm just watching myself. So
Hmm.
the thing I wanted to say about how will you feel when you accomplish your goal, I realized you have to be able to use your imagination, and not
Hmm.
everybody can. In some ways, they can, some areas. But I noticed I was trying to imagine me with what I wanted to do. And I was going, I can't imagine this.
Mm,
It's just, I know I would be happy and glad I did it. But I go, okay, there's something for me to look at and play with and
mhm.
find out why. Why am I not able to imagine this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you always
Yeah.
learn if you're willing to learn.
Yeah. I love the idea too of like, you want to be happy and excited about things. And you're right. You will just then, as a secondary effect, you're at the Trader Joe's or you're at the DMV or wherever, and the people feel that energy,
Right.
right? Yeah.
So you're contributing to their well-being
Uh-huh.
without going out of your way to do something. You've done it. You went out of your way to do something. You were taking care of yourself. What
Mm-hmm.
makes me happy? What shines my light?
Yeah.
Is God expressing through me? How can I be an open channel for the good of me and everyone? Yeah,
Yeah. No,
that's how I
absolutely.
look
I
at it
love it.
anyway.
I love it, Norma. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I want people to
Yeah.
be happy. I'm tired of seeing unhappy, miserable people. I want to see happy people. I want to feel their joy and hear,
Yeah.
I did this, I did that, I got this, I won $10,000. I can go,
Uh-huh.
yay. You know, it's like suffering is old fashioned.
Yeah.
Swear to God, it's old fashioned.
It is. We don't I don't know. I read my second college degree was in political theory, so I read a lot of Hobbes and Locke, and it was all about suffering as the basically the natural state of humanity. And maybe that was, but that doesn't have to be the natural state of humanity going forward. We can choose
Right.
something different.
You know, I just real quick, I'm sorry, everybody, I'm taking so much time here. Real quick, there's a woman, her name is Kimberly Grogan. She's on United Network News. From her, I've learned that this planet has had so many aliens on it. We've
Hmm.
been so dumbed down, so implanted and screwed up. It's amazing we're all still here. And one of the things is our creativity has kept us here.
Yeah.
So there's more to us than we even know, and to have compassion for ourselves and be
Hmm.
happy we're here and be in the now, as Tolle says. And I have found your power is in the now, which you said earlier, Ian.
Yeah.
It's not in the future, it's not in the past, it's right
Hmm.
now. And
Yep.
your intuition comes to your rescue.
There you go. There you go. I love it, Norma. So
Yeah, I
glad
love
you
sharing.
all are here today. I love the
Yeah,
energy in the community.
yeah.
So taking these small steps that are doable. This gives us our roadmap, and we just have to take that road 1 mile at a time. That's okay. And this is why we have our Empowered Business Habits community, which we've talked about a little bit today. I'll talk about it a little bit more now. This is daily and weekly accountability in community. And accountability gets a bad rap sometimes. Sometimes you hear words like hold that person accountable, by which you mean like punish them. That's not what I mean. We're not punishing each other. Our accountability is a loving accountability. It's how are you doing? Let me hold space for you. Let me tell you how much I care, right? Let's get excited about doing things together. Like Kristen said earlier, not just celebrating our goals, celebrating the goals of everybody, the accomplishments of everybody who's on there, celebrating one another together because we actually care. This is why we're doing this together. It's hard to do by yourselves. So we're celebrating together. We're setting daily and weekly goals in loving community and constantly asking after one another. How are you doing? And then we call it empowered business habits. Empowerment, you guys know we love that term. We use it in so many of the things we do here, my wife and I, with our business. It's about claiming our power in the moment, in the day, reclaim that power. The world, boy, doesn't it feel like the world wants to take your power away right now? You guys sense that? The world wants to
Yep.
take your power away. Nobody can take your power away. You can only give it away,
Yeah.
right? So reclaim it. Don't give it away. Nobody can take your power. They can only convince you to give it away. Don't let them. Keep it. Reclaim your power. You take responsibility. Who's responsible for your happiness?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. Nobody else. Nobody's responsible for your happiness but you. Not your kids, not your spouse, not your parents, not your best friends, nobody. And you aren't responsible for their happiness either. You cannot make someone happy, and nobody can make you happy. We have to take that responsibility and take that power back for ourselves. Business, because a lot of us are in mission-based businesses, not necessarily everybody, but at least tangentially, and a lot of us are directly involved in mission-based businesses where we are trying to make a difference. We are working on healing and loving our clients. And habits. The word habit also gets a bad rap. I'm trying to take the power back on the word habit. When we think habits, what do we think of? Smoking, drinking, drugs, right? You name it. What if habit is a powerful word and we choose to find the power in that word? And we find empowerment in forming daily habits together so that we can achieve things together. Let's take the power back in that. So that's what we call it, empowered business habits. Achieving our dreams is a journey, not a destination, right? We work to get from point A to point B together and then start thinking about point C and point D beyond. There's no destination. This is a journey, just like healing, right? All the healers in here, healing is not a destination. It's a journey through this lifetime and the next lifetime and the next lifetime after that. So we gather together every weekday morning to celebrate the previous day or even talk about struggles and what went well and what didn't the previous day, set our personal and professional goals for the new day. Right now, these calls, we are doing them 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. So it's definitely early for those of us on the West Coast. If I did it much later than that, it starts to get late in the day for the East Coast. So this is the balance that we are working on right now that seems to be working. 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, every weekday morning. And for Heather and I, we used to have the habit of going to bed super late and then getting up late in the morning. We are now going to bed early and getting up earlier so that we can run these calls and celebrate with everyone. And our life is much better for it. We are getting so much more done now that we're going to bed earlier and getting up earlier again. And then each Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to start learning about topics of interest, whatever is of interest to the group that week. We can start asking what people want to learn about and setting weekly goals, not just daily as we've been doing, but start to set weekly. So the last 6 weeks or so, we've been opening these Friday things to the broader community. Today is the last day. So I apologize to those of you. Today's the last day. It will be open to the broader community. Starting next Friday, these Friday calls will be for subscribers only, and we'll start to be a little bit more deliberate on our weekly goal setting and learning together. So most of our offers are usually sort of one-time payments or payment plans. This is a subscription. So the basic thing is it's a monthly subscription. You can cancel it at any time. The 97 per month includes access to the daily accountability calls every weekday morning, plus the weekly review and goal setting calls on Friday, and a chance to do it together in community. We also even are starting, we've also, already we've been uploading like worksheets and recordings and things. There will be various bonuses that are thrown in there. And then we just decided today, because we got a couple questions, some from some folks who were thinking about joining, can they do it annual to save money? So yes, as of today, we have a brand new option to pay annually instead of monthly. So instead of paying 97 a month, if you'd rather pay $9.97 for an annual subscription that renews annually instead of monthly, you can do that, save some money. For those of you who are already in the monthly, if you'd like to switch to annual, shoot me an email, let me know, and we can make sure you get a coupon or code or something to make sure you're made whole so you still get the same savings. So again, this is a brand new thing today. And we wanted to offer that. And again, if you're already in the monthly and you want to switch to annual, we'll make sure that we figure out a way that that works out for you so that you're not double paying for anything. Why do this now? Look, do you guys remember the old adage of when's the last time or when's the best time to plant a tree? All right. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Okay, well, I didn't. Well, now what's the best time to plant a tree? Today, right? So the best time to start something like this, if you're not already in it, is literally today, is now, and show up Monday morning. The longer we wait to do this, the longer it takes to achieve our desires and live the lives we deserve and we want. And also, why now? Again, Soon this is going to be sort of closed off, and also the prices are going to be going up because we're going to start adding a ton more stuff into it. If you get in now, you're grandfathered into the current pricing. Whether it's the monthly or annual, you get in now, you're grandfathered into the current pricing. We always, Heather and I, as long as we've been in business, we reward our quote founding members and our early adopters. People always get people who trust us and take that leap of faith early in a program. And this program is new. We've only been running it since the beginning of the year. Those who get in early always get grandfathered in to the early pricing as kind of our founding members. There is going to be a lot more value and bonuses adding into this over the coming and months of the years. This is going to, we are, I was going to say, not just our plan, it is, we are manifesting that this is going to grow like crazy and become something, I think it's amazing already. It's going to become something big. And so we are going to manifest that. And again, if you get in now, then it's you get to start, you're going to get more value at a more cost effective price for those who get in now. So um again, and this is about being supportive of one another. If you're not in a good place to do that right now, I literally mean no judgment for that. That's okay. Maybe it's not the right time for you, but if you want to get and give support in this loving environment, everything we've been talking about today, then this may be exactly right for you. So you can check it out at empoweredbusinesshabits.com. I can drop that in the chat. And then I will also, I know over here, I think I might have a, in case that link doesn't resolve for everyone, let me find the direct clickable link. Um, there we go. And you can check that out as well. Same thing, everybody on Facebook, I will make sure I will add comments to the Facebook so that's the Facebook stream. So that's dropped in there. And for those watching on YouTube, look down below in the YouTube description. There will be links in there as well. How we doing? Good. Any questions?
Ian, I just haven't been able to find that one critical thinking session. Did you forward that to me?
I thought I did. I will double check, but let me see if there what was missing. And yeah, shoot me
Was
an
that
email.
last one or something, or do I have access to those sessions?
I will double check your access in your library, and I'll check that out today and make sure. And then if there's a problem with the access, or maybe I forgot to upload the last call and just didn't realize it. So yeah. So
I'd
we'll
like to hear it because we were talking about something there, and you thought that was really appropriate for me. So I'd like to listen to
yeah,
it. I didn't get
let's double check.
say just the way things go, but
No, that's why you get the recordings. Not everybody can make every call, so
and
that's fine. So yeah, Tom, we'll double check your access, and it's very possible that I just forgot to upload one of the calls on there, in which case I'll do that. So we can that's fixable. Yeah, sorry about that.
And the daily calls, that's a tough one for me. The Fridays, I can probably catch a lot of these, but the daily ones, like that's Pacific time, that's 6:30, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Central time, that's
8:30 Central.
8:30 till the time change occurs. Then it'll be
Well, it'll still be 8:30, unless you're in, I mean, are you in a state that does the time changes?
I'm in Saskatchewan, but we don't change
Oh,
time.
oh, you don't. Okay. Yeah, in Saskatchewan. So then, yeah, it might, I forget which way it goes. So then it might be then 7:30 after that. And these calls, the daily calls, we keep them pretty quick. We try to keep them 20 minutes and under because the point is to have a daily thing, be deliberate about the day, and get going. And then if we get enough people in, I will start to split it into two calls because if the calls go long, that sort of defeats the purpose of getting on and talking about it and taking action. So that right now, I don't know, what would you say, Kristen? We get through it in 15, 20 minutes typically. right now.
Yeah,
So
it's really quick. Everyone's to the point because they've got
yeah,
their wins, their goals, and we cheer each
yeah.
other on and move into the day.
Yeah, it's focused. It's about getting excited and getting, but like I said, if we get, I may start splitting this into cohorts if we get enough people signed up. So, yeah. John. Mhm.
Yeah, I just want to say I just absolutely love what you're doing here, Ian. It's been really tremendous, this community that you've created and established. Um, Fridays, like Tom was saying, I don't think I can make those. Well, I have an accountability to my VA for 14, every morning. So
Yeah.
Fridays, I got a lot of value. Is that going to be at 10 o'clock or Pacific Standard Time, or is that 8:30 also? I'm not sure,
Uh,
clear on.
yeah, so the Fridays we will still have the 6:30 Pacific morning and we will have the 10 a.m. Pacific Friday calls. So on Fridays there will be two calls, the regular morning call plus the additional call on Fridays. So and then the Friday calls will all be recorded and uploaded into the library.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the 6:30s, not everybody can always make it to all of them, Pacific time. Some folks have rearranged when they can, or they you make it when you can. I will admit I missed one or two because I was sick in the morning and it happens. So
Okay. And the structure, like you just said, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then because I'm probably not going to do that part of it, but this one right here, the 10 o'clock call,
mhm.
uh, is it structured so you will have it like, maybe like we're at 90 minutes right now. And I just wanted to know, the structure so I can fit it into, what I'm doing right now
I am looking at right now, my goal is for those to be roughly 90 minutes. And then for those who are able to or want to stay on a little bit longer, I'm probably going to block off 2 hours on my calendar. But I'm looking at roughly a 90-minute call that where every week there might be some instruction on an interesting topic of some sort, and then weekly goal setting. What did you accomplish over the past week? What is your goals for the next week out? And then every quarter we might do then quarterly. What do I want for the next quarter? Some of this is still under development, which is why we're keeping the price so low and going to grandfather in people who take a leap of faith on this, because this is going to evolve as we get together and figure out what we want this to look like and how it's going to work. A year from now, it's not going to look like what it looks like today. Um, but that's the great thing about getting in on the ground floor is you get to be part of, saying this is what I would like to see out of it.
got it. Got it.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Tremendous. Okay. Well, I've got all the information. I got to run. It's 11:30 and
Yeah.
I got to thank you so much to you and to everybody for creating this great community.
No, thanks for your contributions today. Thanks to everyone who is here. As always, I love you all. I will see you guys soon. Bye.
Right.